Good morning, everyone, and welcome to University Unitarian Church. If this is your first time in the building over a year and a half, we are delighted to have you here with us this morning. As we have started to reopen the building for Sunday morning worship and other weekday activities, slowly, we're getting all the protocol together, but we're doing that with your help and cooperation. So thanks so much. My name is John Luopa. I'm the senior minister here at University Unitarian Church. It's Sunday, June the 6th, and we are delighted to have you here and also those who are watching the service live stream, not only in the Puget Sound area, but in other parts of the United States and Japan. Good to be here on this Flower Communion and Children's Sunday. A couple of announcements for those of you who are sitting here this morning. The morning offering will be taken at the end of the service. There will be a plate by the door, so we will not be passing the plate, but we will continue to use the text to give mechanism as well, if you've been doing that over the last more than a year. For those who are newer to UUC and would like to find out more about us and Unitarian Universalism, we'll be offering an information session downstairs in the Dix room and also online through the Zoom breakout group options following the service. There'll also be a sermon discussion group both downstairs in the Natbold room and for those online again through the breakout groups. And so this is the first time we are trying dual platform groups after the service. Well, we'll see how it goes. We're learning how to be what's called now a hybrid congregation, both a face-to-face community and a virtual community. So if you see me or Beth or any of us at certain occasions during the service looking up at the little dot, that's the camera that we're looking at for the live stream audience. There will be a flower communion tailgate event following the service today. And we encourage you all to enjoy the images of flowers sent in by congregants, which you will see on the screen later in the service. The tailgate event begins at noon and goes until 1 o'clock. Cars beginning to arrive in the parking lot about 11:30. You're more than welcome to stay for this if you'd like, but we're just giving you the timing so that if you have parked in the lot, you know how and when to move when it's convenient for you. And you're welcome to join even if you didn't RSVP. We're coming to the end of the church year. Next Sunday is our annual meeting Sunday. We usually precede the annual meeting with a short worship service, which we will do again next week, although there will be no in-person gathering for that because the annual meeting will be online, live stream. This will be the second time we're doing that. Last year we had the highest attendance for the annual meeting in the last 100 years. So let's see if we can break a record next Sunday and have even more. So if you plan to join us for the service beforehand, you can do that from the comfort of your home. That's it, my friends. Let us begin the service this morning with our prelude.
I call us to worship this morning with these words from the Reverend Sarah York. We receive fragments of holiness, glimpses of eternity, brief moments of insight. Let us gather them up for the precious gifts that they are, and renewed by their grace, move boldly into the unknown. Welcome to worship this morning. Welcome to University Unitarian Church. It is truly so good to be here together. Will you please now rise in body and spirit for our doxology, followed by hymn number 396, I Know This Rose Will Open.
Hello, my name is Jerome Croman. I'm a longtime member of this community of hope and memory.
I'm Corinne Kelly.
When I think of why I continue to participate and contribute to this community, to this church, I realize that one of the things that really felt right went back when I started in the 80s, 90s, and through to the present day is community, being part of the community that advocates for racial, social, and economic justice for all people, that provides services for people who need shelter and food. And this continues to this day with a brand new leadership taking the leadership role, and me being happy to follow.
As a child, I was raised in a fundamentalist upbringing where I experienced community with a deity as a focus. As an adult, I appreciate sharing a spiritual community at UUC that is value-based and gives voice, witness, and action to those values. Now, please join us in sharing the words we say together each Sunday. This church is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. When we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it.
My name is Melody Moberg, and I have the honor of serving as Director of Religious Education. Each year, we celebrate high school bridging during our Flower Communion worship, acknowledging the transition of our senior youth into young adulthood. For this first part of the ceremony, we will see images of UUC's graduating high school seniors. I will read the names and biographies of these students. Quillen Dunaway is kind and inclusive and fun, leading the yearbook design and production team he recruited at the Center School, and starting an exercise club to help his fellow students get their physical education requirements. He will be attending Seattle University and focusing on art and film. Eric Bruce Farwell was born July 18, 2002. He has always loved boats, has grown up on the water, and is going to California Maritime Academy in the Bay Area to pursue his dream career on the water. He graduates from the Seattle Academy of Arts and Sciences on June 8th. He was planning a summer internship on the Virginia 5, the old Puget Sound steamer ship that was part of the Mosquito fleet, but rotten wood was found, and it will remain on dry dock until fixed. Eric has been involved at UUC since the day he was born, went through the entire religious education program, including Chalice Camp and the intergenerational choir. Eric has even taught Sunday school. He has appreciated this community and the love which surrounds him here. Jacob Ferguson will be graduating from Ingram High School. This summer, he will spend 3 weeks in Ecuador on a volunteer trip. In the fall, he will be attending Western Washington University. Oliver Gerard will be taking more classes at Shoreline Community College this coming year, volunteering with the Sunrise Movement and playing piano. He hopes to be going on some epic hikes and camping trips. Maxwell McLaughlin attended Windhoek International School in Namibia for 9th and 10th grade, and then returned to Seattle to finish high school at Roosevelt. He is interested in art and design and is taking art courses at Cornish this summer. In the fall, he will attend Seattle Central Community College for a year as part of the Seattle Promise program as he decides what to do next. Adele Sager graduates one day after her 18th birthday from Henry M. Jackson High School. After a national college search, Adele found her best fit at Western Washington University, where she will be in the honors program, majoring in dance and biology. We also want to acknowledge our graduating high school students who did not submit a photo: Fiona McDaniel, Sam McDaniel, and Tim Thompson. At our child dedication ceremonies, we welcome young children into our church community by giving them roses from which the thorns have been removed. These buds are symbols of life. The thornless stems are a reminder of our desire to protect the children of our church family and to smooth the journeys of their unfolding lives. Now, these seniors are on the other edge of adolescence. Later today, they will be presented with roses once more, symbols of beauty and the promise of their lives. This time, the stems are not stripped of thorns, because this time we mean to give a real and a true rose, thorns included, for we cannot pretend to hold away the hurts and dangers of adulthood any more than we can keep these buds from blooming. To our senior youth, I say this: you must handle these roses with care, for no one else can do it for you. But while we are not able to protect you, we urge you not to shrink away from life, but to embrace it fully. We are confident that through the years you have gained from our church many of the tools you will need to handle life's hardships. Of course, in your lives, you will still face hard times. In these moments, know that your church community loves you and cares for you and will help you when needed to heal your wounds. Grasp the rose of young adulthood with confidence and joy, thorns and all. We will be with you always. You who are bridging today have grown beyond what you once were. With each new day and each new experience, you learn more about yourself, your world, and your faith. Your past will serve you well on your journey. Your UUC community recognizes your transition from youth to young adulthood. It is a blessing to share together the sorrow of leaving the past, as well as the excitement of embracing the future. We pledge to one another to be in community fully, openly, with all the blessings and responsibilities such an effort brings, and to move forward together into this, our future Unitarian Universalist faith.
On this Sunday, we celebrate what has become an international ritual, the flower communion service that was developed first in Prague, Czechoslovakia in 1923. This speaks from our Eastern European experience of Unitarianism. There were at one point in Poland over 500,000 Unitarians in the central part of Poland, but in the middle of the 17th century, the community was completely exterminated by the Inquisition to such a degree that Polish history books today have no mention at all of the role of the Unitarians in Poland at the time of the Reformation. Unitarians have lived and worshipped and struggled in Hungary and Romania, in Transylvania. Indeed, the stole that I'm wearing is from the Transylvanian Unitarians. And they have suffered greatly over the centuries as well. And the communist government attempted to exterminate Unitarianism and all religion, really, in Romania, and they were unsuccessful. When we first wrote to our partner church there, extending our friendship to them, the minister wrote back and said that he had felt as if the world were a sponge, and as God squeezed it, all that could come out of it was tears, except now there was one drop of honey among the tears, which was our interest in them as American Unitarian Universalists. In 1923, however, the flower communion ritual was created by the minister of the Unitarian Church in Prague, Dr. Norbert Fabian Čapek. Dr. Čapek had grown up in a Roman Catholic family, was very liberal in his approach to Catholicism, and became a Baptist. But even that was too constraining for him. So he heard of Unitarianism and the great example of the martyr Jan Hus in the 15th century, and he became a Unitarian. So he founded the church in the city of Prague, and it became, at its height, the largest Unitarian church in the world, still to date, with nearly 3,500 members. Dr. Čapek was a tireless preacher and activist for liberal causes. And when the Nazis approached Prague in 1940, they considered his message of the infinite worth and beauty of every human being a subversive teaching, such that he needed to be removed. And so he was taken one night from his family and sent to the Dachau concentration camp. He was ill and was transported shortly to Hartheim Castle in Linz, Austria, where most of the sick prisoners were sent, and he died probably within 24 hours of his arrival at the castle. Miraculously, he was able to smuggle out of the prison camp his final letter to his wife and children and congregation, and I would like to read it to you now. My dearest, my one and only wife, these are my final hours, and my final thoughts are, of course, on you and the children, and on everyone and everything that is dear to me. I have felt more and more inside that there is no other way out, and with ever-deepening remorse for you, whom I am leaving a widow, and for the children who will be losing their father, and for those who will be losing a kinsman, a friend, a colleague, a companion. Today, a letter came from you, from all of you, with your blessing, my loving and faithful wife, and with expressions of love, of our best and highest dreams, and of those closest to us. Thank God for them, especially on this day. I can bear the remaining 4 or 5 hours, and I will not be downcast, but will rather give myself over to thoughts of you all, who are most dear to me, the past and the future, and about your good and happy future so well deserved, when you will bring to fruition the best possible life, one that I would have been so happy to have lived with you so simply, in the fullness of a tried and tested love for each other and for God. There is so much I have wanted to make up to you for, and to give to you and the children, and my nearest and dearest, but I believe that even so, you will all be blessed. I am faithful to my best and highest hope, resolve, and belief, wishing everyone well, believing in the future good of all of you, the family, the nation, humanity, and those especially who suffer most. You of all people will understand what I mean without words. I know that everything that I have not finished, you will attempt to finish, just as you have completely and wisely cared for me in the past. O you best of all women, if I have offended or harmed anyone, I ask their forgiveness. My last breath will be for you and the children, and the sign of the cross on your foreheads, your mouths, and your heart. Your loving Father. In the last service of each church year, Dr. Chopek asked all of his members and adults and children to bring a flower to that closing service and to place it in a common receptacle, and at the conclusion of the service to come forward and take from that common basket a different flower from the one they brought, to symbolize the beauty and diversity of gifts in the community and how we give to it and we receive from it. This ritual was practiced until 1944, when Dr. Chopek's wife came to the United States with 2 of her children to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and where she introduced this ritual at the First Parish in Cambridge in Harvard Square. And over the years, as I mentioned earlier, it has become a nearly universal ritual of Unitarians and Universalists and Unitarian Universalists all over the world. Robert Penn Warren said of Dr. Martin Luther King that his martyrdom came to purge away all refuse. Dr. Chopek is one of the very few martyrs of our Unitarian and free faith, and his devotion to the principle of the infinite worth and dignity of every human being cost him his life. We are grateful to his memory and to his example, and if we can find the courage to try to live accordingly, and to do all we can in the perilous times in which we live, where there is so much troubled water. We need to be that bridge for each other, leaning on each other, holding each other up, sacrificing parts of ourselves for the good of the family, the nation, and humanity, and life. Before members came forward to receive their flowers, Dr. Chopek would say these words: Infinite Spirit of life, we ask your blessing on these, your messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us amid diversities of knowledge and gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion to your holy will. May they also remind us of the value of friendship, of doing and sharing life alike. May we cherish each other as one of the most precious gifts in our lives. And may we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship. But may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do this work in the world. Amen. I invite you now to join me in singing the traditional Flower Communion hymn, verses 1 through 4, Color and Fragrance.
Sweet changing music will
I don't know what was sweeter, watching the images on the screen or watching your faces. Even in challenging times, we try to make the connection, and many times we succeed, and sometimes we don't, but I think we did. And Beth and I have really missed seeing you and having you here and being together. So it's good. Not to return to the old normal, that's gone, but to start making a new normal. So let's do it together. Our closing hymn this morning is hymn number 407, Welcome Table. And if you are moved by the Holy Spirit or the human spirit to get up and jump around and dance, I hope you do that, okay? There you go. That's good. That's really good. Whew. Well, we close with the words of Dr. Chapek too, found in his diary, the last few pages of it, where he wrote, "It is worthwhile to live and fight. It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. Oh, blow ye evil winds into my body's fire, my soul you will never unravel. Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in the fight, and everything worthless seem, I have lived amidst eternity. So be grateful, my soul, for life was worth living. And he or she who has been pressed from all sides, but remains victorious in spirit, is welcomed into the choir of heroes. And he or she who overcame the fetters, giving wing to the mind, is entering into the golden age of the victorious. So may it be. Amen." You have a good week. See you next week. Okay.
Gloria,